This is my lawn here.
Go ahead and vote, because once we get back to power, we can give all forgiveness, give all amnesty. Think about that. Because the states are going to feel the votes are coming. It's going to take days, weeks, months to figure this out. And if it's not done by January 20th, the House of Representatives votes for the new president. And guess who they're going to elect? President Nancy Pelosi. And I'm not kidding you, that's their strategy. We, the people's strategy, is to make a landslide they've never seen before. This president is doing 5 rallies a day across this state. That's how important your vote is. Mission can turn everything. Your vote can turn everything. We've done over 100 rallies like this all across Macomb, 1,000 street rallies all across Michigan, because we love our country. These are true patriots. We have no apology. We love our country, as does our president. Ask yourself, who do you want to represent you? Donald J. Trump, we ask for your vote today. As you come here, get the word out. Call your family and friends. You can make a big difference. Get the word out. Donald J. Trump, straight Republican ticket. If you got questions, we have flyers right here that will give the information to the straight down ballot candidates. We want our people informed. We want people who represent America, who will represent you at your schools, your homes, your families, your jobs. We want a great revival, a great regeneration, a great renaissance, and it's not just economic. The greatest renaissance in history happened in the 1500s, when there was a great economic prosperity, and the kings, and the leaders, the nobles supported the arts, supported the people. 15% were engaged in the building trades to build the castles. And that's going to happen here. This regeneration, this cultural regeneration will rejuvenate America. We will gain back.
I actually just turned 18 about not that long ago. And so it was my first time voting this year. Yeah, so it was actually very easy, so I was really happy about that. But I can definitely say that it was a lot riding on this election and that I was very nervous about it. And yeah, so the day right before, no, the day of the election, yeah, it was the day of the election, I was going for a jog because I'm trying to like get more into my physical activity and whatnot. So I was going for my jog and I had on a hoodie. I actually had on this jacket. I live in another state, so when I come home, I don't really, this is just what I have available in my closet usually. So anyways, I'm on my jog and I have a hood on because it was like kind of windy and, you know, you don't need an excuse. You don't need to justify wearing a hood. So I'm wearing my hoodie and I'm jogging around and I just see all these Trump and Pence signs just surrounded and surrounded and surrounded everywhere I turn. And I know that a lot of people say, oh, politics is just politics. You should be able to have a disagreement with, you guys don't have to identify with the same party to get along or to be friends and this and that. But honestly, when I see, I think I can speak for a lot of members of the Black community, not all, but a lot, a nice majority. When I see a Trump or a Pence sign, I immediately think, oh my gosh, I need to run. I need to fight for my life. Like, I'm immediately scared. Like, I'm literally scared to be Black. When I'm just scared to even exist when I see that sign. And yeah, it's just really disheartening. And I remember breaking down and literally crying because I didn't feel safe going anywhere and literally going back to my house and turning around and just stopping my jog because you think about so many people who've lost their lives just for being Black, for doing, you know, regular things at the hands of typically Trump supporters, people who are rallying for Trump when he supports this type of thing. I remember when they were having their presidential debate and he was asked about this, as well as for the vice president debates, Pence, he was asked about this too, and they both kind of just about police brutality, about Breonna Taylor, about George Floyd, and they just kind of brushed it off as if it wasn't important, as if it was nothing. And just said, oh, unfortunate, but hey, nothing we can do about it. They didn't identify, they didn't realize that it's a problem in this system. They didn't realize that it's a problem, in our forms of government, our judicial systems, and just the way that we run our country. And that was really eye-opening to me, because if you don't see a problem, how can you fix something? If you don't know that there's something broken and needs to be fixed, you're not going to fix it. You're not at all. So it was really eye-opening to me that no matter what, I don't know, I feel like most people, their parents have a huge influence on their lives and definitely who they're going to vote for. So let's say even if you didn't have your mind made up, just watching that and the way they talked about, Breonna Taylor and George Floyd, may they rest in peace. It was so disgusting and disheartening to hear the way, they spoke about these lovely people who lost their lives. And then people who say, well, they were doing this and they were doing that. At the end of the day, nobody's perfect, but does that mean they need to lose their lives? No, it doesn't. So that was really disheartening to see. And then later on, boom, I go back in the house. I'm studying for my finals. Classes are wrapping up. And then me and my grandma, we just hear loud, bang, bang noise. So we go outside, we rush to see what's going on. And literally in my driveway and in my front lawn, there's trucks and trucks and trucks of people with these Trump signs and in their car and blowing their horns right in front of literally in my driveway. And right on the front of my house this is going on. And across the street, I live across the street from a school, so it's a polling location. So it's a whole entire rally. When I say an entire rally is going on, like the parking lot is filled. There's just so much going on. They're using hateful racial slurs. And I even saw there was a black guy. One of the guys that was in front of my lawn, he was black, going, woo, yeah, yeah, yeah. Trump, 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 just rallying for Trump, going so hard for Trump. While the guy who was across the street with the megaphone was literally using racial slurs, hateful terms and slurs towards African Americans. And I saw this man just like, yeah, yeah, yeah. And I was so baffled, like, how deep has the self-hatred must be in you to support this or support such a thing? Like, how, how horrible did your upbringing or your childhood have to be for you now to be like, as a grown middle-aged black man in America, in any way, shape, or form, think this is okay to support somebody literally saying, like, this is not he say, she say. This is not accusations of, oh, how do you know he's really this, even though he said multitude of times, Like, this was literally happening before his eyes. Nothing that nobody could say that, oh, that's not true. He was literally using racial slurs, talking about black people, talking about LGBTQ people, talking about people of color in general with hateful slurs. And at what point do you go, yeah, I'm so for this? How wrong? How unique did your childhood have to be for you to be so self-hating, self-conniving? Or was this another plot in a way for you to like chase a bag somehow? Because if so, then I'm for that. But if not, I'm not judging necessarily. I'm not judging you, but I'm judging the people before you and the people before you and the people before you. But then it's like, even then, to what extent can you really judge them? Because you don't know how their upbringing was or what they knew. People only teach what they can know. People only share what they know. So who's to blame? It's just like, at some point you have to stand up and say, okay, I'm going to break this cycle. At some point you have to stand up and say, okay, this is going to end with me. At some point, at the midst of all this crying and pain, because there has to be some form of crying or pain for you to come to this conclusion that, okay, I'm going to rally with somebody who's calling me out of my name, calling me ugly for being who I am. There had to be some type of crying or pain to get to this point. So at some point in all of this crying and pain, it seems like you will want to say, okay, for me, for my children, for my grandchildren, I want to change this. You know what I mean? So yeah, I recorded it on my camera, but my camera had actually ended up dying. But if I still have footage of it, then I will definitely upload it here. But it was definitely an interesting experience, and it's really crazy to me how many people think that current President Donald Trump is going to be reelected, when the results have proven that Joe Biden has actually won the election. So, like, what's going on? And I definitely think that it'll be interesting to see. It'll definitely be interesting to see what's going to happen, in these next few months. It's supposed to be a turn of power, a turn of authority, but honestly, I'm not saying it. Honestly, there's nothing so far in Donald Trump's career that makes me feel like this is going to be a peaceful, lawful turn of authority. But hopefully he proves me wrong. But honestly, and I've definitely changed my news provider after this whole election. This election has been very telling about friends, family, very telling about, news reporters, grocery clerks, old friends, people who you just see in your daily life that I don't know necessarily how to explain it, but yeah, very telling. So I've definitely switched to CNN from my previous news provider, but I'm not going to name any, providers, anything like that, because, some things just don't need to be said. But I'm definitely rocking with CNN, I would say. So yeah, and if you like this video, you leave a thumbs up, leave a comment, share, subscribe. Please subscribe, because I want to do Vlogmas next month, but I feel like I don't know. So no, let me stop playing. Okay, let me stop playing. But yeah, I just really want to be more consistent with posting with my videos and everything. So I have faith that I will be doing that at least once a week. I really want to aim for 3 times a week this month, but at the very least once a week. So yeah, keep the faith, keep the faith on your timeline, in your heart, and in your spirit. Okay, subscribe, like, share, and comment, and I'm out this thing. Bye.